welcome to my channel. This video is for the full moon in Sagittarius this month of June 14th, 2022. Sagittarius is adventurous, optimistic, seeks out joy, and enjoys learning and discovering new things, gaining knowledge. So since this is a full moons are about releasing or celebrating and showing gratitude for what we have and releasing what we no longer want, or challenges or obstacles that in our way of seeing our new moon intentions manifest and come true. This full moon is a really great time to release any challenges or any blockages in whichever area we feel we are experiencing, and it will be really helpful if we look at what intentions we set at the new moon 2 weeks before and see what may be preventing us from having that intention become reality. Sagittarius can also be known as kind of being irresponsible, flaky, careless, or deceptive. So if those are qualities or traits that you are working on or experiencing in yourself or someone else, you can set the intention to let those go and transform those, and that can be really powerful in a Sagittarius full moon. It also is a powerful time to look at maybe what is unfinished, incomplete, or something where you don't have a full picture that's kind of left to the unknown or where you're not really sure about. Sagittarius full moons can help you with some clarity and insight around unfinished areas. During a Sagittarius full moon, it can really be helpful to tune into the energy of anything is possible and I can achieve anything, I can become anything, or I can do anything. A time where you can really get faith around trusting that all your dreams are possible and coming true. It's also a time to just feel good and joyful and optimistic and like the world is full of possibilities and opportunity and you are receiving them all. It's really a time to consider what's the best possible outcome. What is the ultimate thing that I could see happening in my life that almost seems too good to be true, and really start to believe and accept that it's possible for you. You can think about, how can I dream bigger? Where am I thinking too small? What is really possible for me? Or what do I want to be possible for me? So I will be doing a pick a card reading using the Dog and Cat Communication Tarot deck, which is specifically designed for communicating with your pets. I like to ask our familiars for advice or guidance, or just how we can help them and what they need right now during this time, or energy that they want in the household, because they are really in tune with us. They mirror our energy, they look for us for guidance, and they really reflect back to us when they're acting up. It's usually them mirroring something in us that we can look at, or when they're misbehaving, or when they have health issues. We can often see that reflected in our own life or internally. That's just because animals are so in tune with energy, and we are a huge part of their life, especially when they live with us and they're so in tune and connected to us. So they have a lot to provide us. That's often why they are called familiars. I'd also like to invite you to join my Facebook group, Living with Familiars, if you have any questions or feel you could benefit from further guidance, support, or community. So get comfortable, get in a meditative state, take some deep breaths, and I'm going to shuffle the cards and create 3 piles, 1, 2, and 3. Pick a number between 1 to 3, and that will be your message from your familiar. I will be asking our familiar, what area of our life do they suggest we can be more optimistic in, where we can look bigger, where we can expand our dreams and our perspective on what's possible for us, where we're maybe dreaming too small, and where our familiar thinks we're capable of so much more and we can really dream bigger. Let's see what they have to say. So I'm going to shuffle the cards for group 1, group 2, and group 3. Where can we dream bigger? What message does our familiar have for us to dream bigger. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Group 1, your cards are the Emperor and the Seven of Paws. Group 1, your cards, the Emperor and Seven of Paws, are both about structure and stability, especially the Emperor. It is really about having a schedule or a routine and being kind of firm in that. Animals, our familiars, our pets, they really like to know what to expect. They like to be fed at the same time, maybe go for walks or exercise at the same time, and have a pretty set schedule or routine for that day, especially if they tend to be more anxious or are experiencing some health or behavioral issues. It can really help when they know what's coming and they have a really good internal bodily clock, and you probably noticed that they'll wake up at the same time every day and they will get hungry around the same time. They'll kind of know when dinner is expected if they have that schedule and routine, and they really like to have that. On the other hand, there are also times when dogs and cats, they can kind of become too obsessive over a schedule. And maybe if you're half an hour late or 20 minutes late, they will bark at you and be kind of bossy around it. So there really needs to be this healthy balance. You don't want them to become too OCD and not able to be flexible and adaptable, because sometimes things happen and schedules do get messed up or changed a little bit, and you have to be able to adapt with that. Some days might be a little bit different, but when your animal has this expectation and they kind of know what to expect, they can relax. They're not always on edge or on guard. You can think where in your life your familiar really wants you to reflect and assess on where in your life can you be a little more flexible or have more structure and routine. Where do you need a little bit more discipline? Where do you feel a little bit out of control, and how can you gain some of that control? What would make you feel in control? Or where can you step up and take charge? Where are you maybe letting your boundaries or something that's important to you be put aside? Where can you step up and really set firm boundaries and let someone else know that this isn't okay with you? You feel uncomfortable, or take a look in your familiar. Is there an area where you can help support them and help them feel a little more in control? The Seven of Paws is really about critically assessing situations. So it really relates to the Emperor in having that structure and routine, and the suggestion from our familiar is to really assess what areas of our life could use more or could use less. The Seven of our Paws can also be about our familiar getting into trouble or misbehaving a bit because they're bored, because they're just trying to entertain themselves and occupy their time. This can also be a suggestion that our familiar is not letting us know something. They're trying to hide something. For example, when we turn our backs and there's food on the table, maybe they take that opportunity when we're not looking to grab some food. This is a suggestion from our familiar to add into our routine and our schedule some enrichment, some mental stimulation, maybe a food puzzle or a Kong or a little more playtime, something that gets their brain moving. And that's probably something that you can add in your life as well. So this full moon, really take the time to assess your schedule, your routine, where you need to gain control or where you are trying to control too much and maybe you need to let loose a little bit. How can your schedule or routine be improved to fit who you really are, your lifestyle, and who you want to be, who you want to become, where you want your life headed? In our routine, our familiar also suggests that we add some sort of enrichment, something exciting. There may be something that's a little bored or stale that we can change up. Maybe we are too strict on our schedule and our routine, and our familiar is feeling a little bit bored, or that you're feeling your familiar suggesting that you are a little bit bored, and to look into what areas you may be feeling bored, what areas of your life or routine, something that you do regularly that just isn't in alignment with who you are anymore. Can you release that and let that go? Or if you can't, how can you make it more exciting? How can you feel more optimistic and bring some new opportunities into that area, into that duty or routine or something that you have to do? There has to be a way that you can spice it up a bit, add a little bit more joy to it. I hope this was helpful and you have a great full moon period, and I'll see you at the new moon reading. Thanks for watching. Bye. Group 2, your cards are the Four of Paws and the Queen of Paws. Group 2, your cards are both from the suit of Paws. Group 1 also had one card from the suit of Paws, so I feel like that may be a kind of theme for this month. Paws are about action and communication. The suit of Paws often provides insight into how you are understanding your pet. Whether your pet, your familiar, feels respected, heard, understood. This suit is about your pet's thoughts and what they think about their environment, their surroundings, their capabilities, and their self-expression, whether they are able to fully express themselves. The Four of Paws is about taking the time to be mindful. So turning inward and looking at what your internal dialogue and thoughts are. What are you telling yourself throughout the day? Or what are you telling yourself about a certain situation, or maybe your new moon intention, something that you are trying to manifest, something that you are maybe struggling with? How is your internal dialogue? What are you telling yourself about it? So really take the time to be present and think about the thoughts that you are having throughout the day. Are these thoughts that are optimistic and joyful? Are they thoughts of opportunity and excitement around the possibilities? Or are they thoughts of how hard and difficult and challenging and how you're not making momentum? So really, our familiar really wants you to take the time to be present and aware of your thoughts. And are these thoughts that feel good, that you want to continue thinking, or are they thoughts that you can release? This card can also be an opportunity to meditate, and that's often when we have a lot of thoughts going through our mind, and meditating, of course, is trying to quiet those thoughts or just letting those thoughts drift by. So never actually emptying your mind or not having thoughts, but being aware of the thoughts that are coming and not judging them, not trying to change them, just being aware of them and kind of just letting them come to your mind and then float on by and leave, and not putting any weight or importance or judgment on them. And then once you become aware of the thoughts that are more consistent, or the thoughts that are the loudest or the strongest, then you can start to see how maybe you can change them, but not judging yourself for having them, just using them as guidance or a tool. The second card that you received is the Queen of Paws. The Queen of Paws is the same but a little bit different. So the Four of Paws is more about our internal dialogue, and the Queen of Paws is more about being able to express ourselves to others, express ourselves out loud, being able to communicate directly and clearly, so having really efficient communication. So our familiars, the pets in our lives, the animals in our life, they look to us for direction. They look to us to communicate to them how to act or what to do, or if a situation calls for anxiety or stress or fear, they kind of look to us to see how we're feeling in the moment and then mirror that back. So if we're kind of anxious or unsure of something that's occurring and they don't really know how to feel or what to think about it, they look at us to see, kind of check in, oh, how is she feeling? How is he feeling? And then gauge if they should also be on alert, or if it's okay to relax and they are safe. So they mirror back to us our emotions. So that's not communicating directly with them with our words, but it's communicating with them kind of through our thoughts and emotions. And since you received the Four of Paws, which is about our internal dialogue, our thoughts, our familiar is communicating with us through our thoughts, through the thoughts that we are thinking to ourselves. Our familiars kind of want us to tell them what to do. Your familiar respects your decisions and your opinions. Hi, Penny. So your familiar really respects you and trusts you in making the right decisions and in knowing how to respond to situations. The Queen of Paws can also be about our boundaries. Are we communicating our boundaries? Are others around us aware of our boundaries? So this full moon, your familiar is really wanting you to be aware of your internal dialogue, your internal thoughts. And you can even look to your familiar for guidance or advice and think about when they are feeling maybe anxious or when their behavior is challenging you. What kind of situations are that? Which may help you get some insight into what kind of situations are challenging you, because it will be similar to what your familiar finds challenging, because they are just working off you and what you are communicating with them. This full moon, also consider what you can release to have a more optimistic point of view. Thoughts that are more positive, uplifting, joyful. Thoughts that are preventing you from being or feeling more joyful. What are those thoughts and how can you release them? I hope this was helpful for you and you have a really great full moon period, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Group 3, your cards are the Sun, and the King of Balls. Group 3, your card, the Sun, is all about experiencing joy, which is the perfect card for this Sagittarius full moon, when Sagittarius is really about joy and experiencing joy, feeling joy, going what after brings you joy. And your second card, the King of Balls, is about passion and going after what you are passionate about. So really think about what in your life brings you joy and what in your life are you passionate about. And maybe if you do more of what you are passionate about, you will experience more joy. Our familiar really suggests that we just soak up the joy, do everything that we can to bring more joy into our life, and notice what brings us joy and then really be present in the moment with that joy. So really feel and experience the joy. Tune into how joy feels in our body when we are doing something that we find joyful, and be really grateful for those things that bring us joy. Just be really aware of joy and how it feels in your body and the thoughts that bring you joy. Think more of them. How can you be more optimistic? This joy and this optimism will bring you motivation and kind of go on this search, this hunt for passion and joy. You're familiar suggesting that you feel optimistic and refreshed and positive, full of vitality. Focus on the light that you can bring into the world, the light that just let yourself shine, let yourself be bright and like the sun, joyful and jolly, and shine that light, that happiness on others. Let others see you when you are doing something you're passionate about, when you feel really good. Let yourself shine. So for you, group 3, it's a pretty simple message from your familiar. Both cards are really suggesting that you go after your passion and your joy and really let yourself feel that. So this full moon, release anything that may be getting in the way or zapping your joy, and focus on what you are passionate about, and focus on those moments when you have joy. Really experience joy and feel it in your body. Be aware of the things that bring you joy. Your familiar is suggesting that this full moon, you really go after something that you're passionate about. Perhaps you have been holding back or feeling that you can't really take action or do something that you have been wanting to do, that you've been passionate about, that you feel would be a lot of fun. Maybe explore a new hobby or let yourself enjoy something that you've been wanting to do for a while, that you feel will be fun, that you are excited about, but you just felt you haven't had time or the money or whatever it is that's holding you back. Release that and let yourself take a new class or explore a new hobby. Go after something that you've been dreaming and wanting to do or learn or experience, or an adventure that you've been wanting to take and you just haven't done it yet. Maybe it's been a few years that you've been wanting to do this and there's just always some kind of excuse or some reason that you can't. And now's the time to stop with the excuses, stop with thinking that you can't, and going to do it, following that passion, following that joy, and having a more optimistic outlook on the things that are really truly authentic to you and that you really find passionate for yourself, not for anyone else, not for any other reason other than just experiencing joy and happiness in life. So I hope that was helpful for you, group 3, and you have a really great full moon period, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.